Check out Penthy Blog Official. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. We've all heard the phrase, chameleon, change color like a chameleon. But chameleons aren't the only masters of disguise. From stick insects to octopus, there are tons of animals that can camouflage themselves. And while we might think it's magic, it's really just good old science. So let's get to the bottom of this. What is camouflage and how does it work? To answer that question, let's take a look at one of the most famous color-changing critters, the chameleon. Chameleons can change color for two main reasons: to camouflage themselves and to communicate. Some species can even change color in response to temperature. But when it comes to camouflage, the chameleon has two tricks up its sleeve, or should I say scales. The first is basically a biological version of an optical illusion. A chameleon's skin has special cells called chromatophores, which contain sacs full of pigment. When those sacs are empty, the pigment spreads out, making the cell look bigger. And since color is determined by the size of a cell, not the amount of pigment inside of it, a chameleon with big sacs will look the same color as a chameleon with little sacs. Even though they have different amounts of pigment, it's kind of like how a black shirt looks the same under both a dim hallway light and direct sunlight. In both cases, the light is being absorbed by the shirt and re-emitted in all directions. It just looks different because the brightness is different. But the chameleon's illusion is even cooler than that, because they can control their skin cells independently. They basically have their own personal color palette, allowing them to match the colors of their surroundings perfectly. But that's not the only trick chameleons have. Their see-through undersides allow them to blend in with the background by making their outlines invisible. Basically, their undersides are like a pane of glass, which allows the light coming from above to pass through without being scattered. Since they're mostly made of water and don't have a lot of cellular structure, they're able to achieve this transparency. However, the see-through trick isn't exclusive to There are other see-through critters like glass frogs and glass lizards. They're all related. See-through undersides might be more common than we think. Let's move on to an animal with perhaps the coolest camouflage, the mimic octopus. This octopus can impersonate other animals like sea snakes, lionfish, and even jellyfish. And it uses a bunch of different techniques to do so. For instance, the mimic octopus can change the shape of its body, like puffing out its arms to look like a lionfish. It also changes color and displays specific behaviors, like when it mimics a venomous blue-ringed octopus. It even copies the other octopus's cute little wobble. But what makes this impersonation possible is the mimic octopus's skin. It has tiny little muscles that run along its skin, kind of like the strings of a puppet. By contracting these muscles, the octopus can raise small flaps of skin called pupillae. These papillae are basically little 3D objects on the surface of the octopus's skin. And the octopus can move them around to look like whatever it wants to look like. And unlike the chameleon, which needs to be relatively close to the things it's trying to copy, the mimic octopus can impersonate animals that are totally different from it, like a fish that lives on the seafloor and a jellyfish that floats in the open ocean. That's because it doesn't need to match the exact colors of its disguise. It just needs to match the general colors. After all, no one's gonna mistake a lionfish for a giraffe, even if they both have similar orange and black coloration. So whether an animal's camouflage is subtle or obvious, it's all about blending in. And it turns out there's a lot of different ways to do that. Now, speaking of things that are hard to notice, did you know there is a small print on the back of your iPhone that explains how the device collects and uses your data? Of course you didn't. You're not scrolling all the way down to the bottom of your phone when you set it up. But you might want to take a peek because today's sponsor, Incognito, has found a way to make privacy policies more understandable and actionable. Their service scans privacy policies in terms of service, summarizes them, and even shows you how much of your data each company collects. They'll also notify you if anything changes or if a data breach happens. And if you're not feeling a service anymore, Incognito can help you stop receiving emails from them and delete your data from their database. Basically, Incognito gives you back control over your data. And when you sign up, you'll get a personalized report showing how much data 30 of your favorite apps and websites collect. It's shocking, but now I feel a lot better knowing that Incognito's got my 6.